1966 was the beginning of what we have come to remember as the 60s. The revolutionary ideas that had been slow cooking since the late 50s reached a turning point. Bold patterns and miniskirts dominated fashion, and a new music style was on the horizon. On January 12th, Batman the TV series premiered on ABC. The show starred Adam West and Burt Ward, along with a strong supporting cast of villains that included Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, and Julie Newmar. The show lasted for 3 crime-fighting seasons. The Chicago Bulls franchise began on January 16th, when the city was granted an NBA team. The Bulls were actually the 3rd NBA franchise in the city, after the Chicago Stags and the Chicago Zephyrs. On March 19th, Texas Western College defeated the University of Kentucky in the NCAA Men's College Basketball Final. This achievement was the first time an all-black starting 5 had won the championship. The top-ranked University of Kentucky team, coached by Adolph Rupp, recruited almost exclusively inside Kentucky, and he did not recruit or play African American players. The Texas Western Miners won the game 72-65. On April 8th, Time magazine published the Is God Dead issue. The magazine cover was the first one to only use type with no imagery. The issue stirred up controversy and looked in depth at the problems facing theology in making God relevant to an increasingly secular society. April 21st, the very first artificial heart was implanted in a human being. A team of surgeons from Baylor University performed the 6-hour surgery on coal miner Marcel DeRutter at Methodist Hospital in Houston, Texas. 5 days later, DeRutter would die from a ruptured lung. April 29th saw the total number of U.S. troops in South Vietnam reached 250,000, as 4,000 members of the 25th U.S. Infantry Division came ashore. On May 16th, the Beach Boys released their groundbreaking album, Pet Sounds, with hits like Sloop John B., Wouldn't It Be Nice, and God Only Knows. The Beach Boys' 11th studio album was released on Capitol Records and has been recognized as one of the most influential records in the history of popular music. On May 28th, the popular boat ride It's a Small World opened at Disneyland. The ride was originally created for the 1964 World's Fair in New York and was a huge success. Originally called The Children of the World, the attraction was meant to feature a mashup of national anthems, but ultimately an original song was composed, and the name was changed to It's a Small World. On June 13th, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a decision in Miranda v. Arizona that established that all criminal suspects must be advised of their rights before being interrogated. Ernesto Miranda was the subject of the case, and the courts found that his rights had been violated when a false confession was obtained. On August 1st, Charles Whitman climbed to the top of a tower at the University of Texas in Austin and shot and killed 13 people and wounded another 31. Prior to the sniper killings, Whitman had already killed his wife and mother in order to save them from the embarrassment of what was to come. Austin police officers were finally able to end the shooting spree after 96 minutes when they shot and killed Whitman. The groundbreaking for the World Trade Center in New York City took place on August 5th. The demolition of 13 square blocks of what was called Radio Row made way for the Twin Towers, along with 5 additional buildings in the complex. On September 5th, Jerry Lewis held his first Muscular Dystrophy Labor Day Telethon. The event lasted 21 and a half hours and raised over $1 million for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. On September 8th, Star Trek first premiered on NBC. The science fiction television series was created by Gene Roddenberry and followed the adventures of the Starship Enterprise and its crew, including Captain Kirk, played by William Shatner, and Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy. September 29th brought us the first Chevrolet Camaro, which was originally named the Panther. The Camaro was Chevy's response to the Ford Mustang, and is considered one of the most perfectly designed cars that ever came out of General Motors. An early prototype of the automated teller machine, otherwise known as an ATM, was displayed for the first time on October 25th. The American Bankers Association's annual meeting was being held in San Francisco, and a new banking machine was being touted as the bank of the future. On October 27th, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown premiered on CBS. In the special, Linus eagerly waits in a pumpkin patch on Halloween night for the arrival of the Great Pumpkin, which he believes delivers toys to children. The Great Pumpkin delivered a 31.6 Nielsen rating, making it the 30th highest rated telecast of 1966. On November 8th, film and television actor Ronald Reagan was elected governor of California. Reagan, a Republican, was able to mobilize conservative voters to defeat incumbent Governor Pat Brown in a landslide. On December 15th, Walt Disney died while producing the animated feature The Jungle Book. Disney, who was a heavy smoker, died at the age of 65 after being diagnosed with lung cancer a month earlier. His brother Roy would pick up the reins and go on to complete the work of opening Walt Disney World a few years later. Finally, on December 18th, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which was narrated by Boris Karloff, aired for the first time on CBS. The Dr. Seuss classic was perfectly animated for television by Chuck Jones, and would go on to become a holiday tradition.